Hello everybody, it's Liz here, and today we have a guest replay actually. This is my, not my first, but this is the first guest replay I'll be commentating over. And this is going to be an absolute insane amount of damage. I don't think I've seen more than this before. I believe I've seen, in the Hori 3, I believe the most I've ever seen is 15,000 damage. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I'll tell you that it is more damage than I have ever done in World War II. And my World War II record is 12,200. So yeah, it's going to be a lot. He is my friend Speedy. He is rolling out here in the Grill 15 on Heilbronn, which is one of my favorite maps, and I think I've gotten 10k on this map actually a few times, so I guess maybe it's partly the map. Every time it was on the same spawn too, so maybe this map is just very good for that. Not quite sure. But yeah, I also want to say that this is before the big update that we had, before all the camo, accuracy nerfs, and everything. So I'm sorry that this is a little bit older replay. This is from about maybe a month or two ago. But I just never got around to doing it, and it was a crazy amount of damage, and I couldn't not feature it. First shot, he snaps into that T-58 going full speed, just showing how good the accuracy of the grill is, even on the move. Which if I would have shot that, that would have never went, just being my luck. He got very lucky there, so don't expect your grill to actually hit those shots, but it did. It was a little bit of a low roll, but who cares? You got the shot in. And he's in this little spot here, which is where I usually go with pretty much any tank on this map, even heavy tanks sometimes, because you can get a shot on these crosses right here. Like as you can see, this poor Conqueror is going to get lit up. 772, that's a nice high roll. Not super high, but above average. And he has some big targets going through there, and this is how he's going to be able to farm. And you can see he knocked his tree down so that when he pulls up, he has concealment. Aims up for the Type 5 and pens there. Lovely pen. And yeah, it's pretty much a perfect situation where he's at right now. 2100 damage already, and yeah, this is going to be crazy. It's going pretty fast already. This is a 13 or something minute game, I believe, so it does go pretty much to the end, but it's worth it. Right now they're winning on hit points, and not by a lot, but enough. He barely gets that shot in. I don't know how he hit that, but he did. 2800 damage, and it's looking absolutely crazy. And if you guys do want to check out Speedy's channel, he is, I think he just started uploading not long ago, but he's a very good player. I will link it in the comments. He's only got a few videos, but I'm assuming he will post more, and yeah, he's got some crazy games, and you're going to see how good of a player he is just from this one game here. I hope one day that I can maybe get this amount of damage, which I think I could. It's just you got to get that perfect situation, you know. You got to get where your team is just bad enough and the other team is good so that they push you and you can just farm. I still need to get the Grill 15 because I've seen so many crazy games in this. I mean, I've seen, there was actually a funny game. One of my friends from Zeke, we were platooning together, and it was pretty much a loss. And I really don't know how. I was like, oh, I counted it as a lost game, basically, because he was a 1 versus 7. And I was like, oh, give it up. You know, you're not going to win. And you know what? He pulled off a 1 versus 7 and did 13,000 damage in the grill. I believe he was almost like full health the whole time, too, which is crazy. And that just goes to show how good the grill is. I cannot tell you how many games I've seen of people doing like 11, 12,000 damage in this tank. It might be better. I think it's actually better than the Turan. Probably because the accuracy is actually good with it, where the Turan's accuracy is kind of buns. However, you don't get that 395 heat pen with this grill. I believe it's about like 330 or something. I don't know the heat pen, but it's not super high. You're playing this thing for the AP rounds, as they are really nice. They're nice and fast AP rounds, almost like APCR rounds, but you get the benefit of it being AP, and they're just fast AP rounds. So that is great. He's up to 4,200 damage already. Their team is, well, the enemy team is losing just by a little bit. And usually at this point, I would consider, like, they have 60% health left, and I'm at 4.2 thousand damage. 10k is definitely possible. You know, you got to think about those kinds of things. It's all about numbers when it's coming down to this. And they got a lot of tanks left, too. So he's backing up here. As you can see, he's pulling up backwards so that he can reverse forward super fast so that he doesn't get shot. Where before, when the grill was, it was a couple updates ago, maybe about a year ago, the grill could only turn its turret a little bit to the left and right, and it was locked. Well, they then buffed it. They buffed the camo, I believe, and they buffed the turret so it can go 360 degrees now. So now we can do things like this, as what you're seeing right now, which is absolutely crazy. He's fallen back a little bit because he sees that people are pushing over there, and there was a chieftain over there, which I don't know how he got over there. It's a Type 5. Type 5s are easy to farm in this tank, and you're going to want to get that shot in. He should just be able to pen right through the turret, as the turret isn't super good. The minute it turns, it's not hard, and he does. Picking up his second kill, and it's looking pretty good so far, 5,300 damage. And now his team is starting to lose by players. Like, they have less players on their team, which is the perfect scenario. That is the absolutely perfect scenario for him. He's pulling up here. Hopefully he can spot something potentially. As you can see, he's backing up into it again. So it has the lowest profile so that nobody can, or if somebody does spot him, it's a lot harder for them to shoot him, as he will be smaller. BZ, nice pen there. He was using his rocket boosters, trying to get across. I'm wondering where that BZ came from. He's guessing he was just camping in the back the whole time. I don't know why. Sometimes you need players like that, though, and that's how you have these big damage games. He's already almost at 7K, and this is looking great. He needs to get these 2 kills out over here so that he can potentially push up, as he is completely alone now. Artillery hits a shot there. T-58, that's an important kill, as that thing has 750 alpha damage. And that was a little risky there, going a little fast on there. I had a feeling he might take fall damage there when I originally saw this replay. Luckily he didn't, because that would have been bad, as you want to keep all your health. You know, health is important, especially in lightly armored targets or things with big guns, so you can take trades. You want to have that health so that you can take a 400 damage round or a 600 damage round, whatever it is, that you can deal your 750 alpha to. So he's falling back, it looks like. Maybe he's trying to regroup with his team because he's pretty much alone over here, and you don't want to be alone, especially when you're at 7,000 damage, and there's 32% health left, so there's plenty of damage. 10K would be no problem, I would say, as long as you don't die. Getting 10K in a match like this is no problem, because Artie is going to be full health. We saw that grill over there is full health, and I'm sure there are other full health tanks. Looks like he's rotating back here now, and he's just trying to look around, I'm guessing, and he spots the BZ over there. Want to get that kill in. As you see how fast those AP rounds is, he's barely leading on those, and they're just hitting. 4 kills, which is looking nice. Potentially he could pick up a few more kills, as there are a lot of tanks, or there's not a lot of tanks, but there's 6 tanks left, and that's a good amount. He could potentially get a Pools medal. That would be extremely rare if he were to get a Pools medal, because he'd have to get every single kill. But 6 or 7 kills is definitely possible, maybe even 8. It's potential he could probably get a Radley Walters medal, which is 8 kills if you did not know that. As you can see, there's a full health Jagdtiger over there, which is nice, but he's just kind of got obliterated by something. And it looks like he's kind of playing it safe right here. Personally, I see that they're losing. I would start pushing up now, which it does look like he's doing, because the game can go fast when it gets to the end like this. Once your team just starts winning, the other team could just collapse, and you don't want that, because you want to get all that damage. He only has 3 AP rounds left, so he's going to be using heat here soon, and I don't think there's anything he actually needs heat for. And something else you'll notice, he hasn't even used his heat yet, which he's been firing full standards this whole time, which just says, yeah, you don't need premium, I guess. I wouldn't, when I do get the grill eventually, I will definitely not load a whole lot of heat rounds, because it's heat. I don't like heat rounds. They're very weird the way they work. He spots the grill, gets a nice shot into him. He's full health, 8,200 damage. And sometimes with heat rounds, when you get to these lightly armored targets, I think I've said this in a video before, but when you're shooting other lightly armored targets with heat, sometimes you can hit their guns or their tracks and just weird things, which is so annoying, where AP is probably just going to pen right through that, and you shouldn't have an issue. So that's something you got to worry about when you only have heat rounds left, as he only has 2 AP rounds left, and there's nothing he really needs it for. Maybe the Jagdtiger potentially, if he wants to just go through the upper plate or the superstructure. But I think he can do any of that with his AP rounds anyways. He spots another full health grill, which is very nice. He's looking if he can get shots over there. Doesn't have shots. He needs to poke around this corner and get this grill out because he needs to farm up as much damage as possible. Personally, I would be running Ammo Swapper on this tank, especially after the update, so that you can switch to the HE. He does switch to HE there, but with the Ammo Swapper, you don't have to reload your rounds once you have any round loaded. If you have a heat round loaded, you can just instantly switch to a AP round or a heat round, and that comes in very nice in situations like this if you just need to switch to HE. And you can see he's at 10,000 damage already, and there's 16% health with 5 players left. So yeah, you can see where this is going. He needs to get this last little grill out. He misses his shot. Now we know all the tanks are most likely at like A0-ish or like C0-ish. They're all up in there. He needs to get in there, as I believe this is a damage record. He did tell me it was his damage record. And yeah, he needs to get in there, especially when you get up to 10,000 damage. Sometimes you can start to, not think things through as you're like, wow, this is so much damage. This is the most I've ever done. I'm about to beat my record or whatever. So sometimes you can make misplays or something, but you're not going to see any misplays here because it looks like he's done this plenty of times before because he's not having any problem. He needs to rush these two because they're starting to, lose health and die. Get the shot into the grill. 10,700 damage. Hopefully his teammates can take out this tank, or maybe the grill will just miss. Pulls forward at the last second, as that is crucial, and boom, he's dead. He still has only heat rounds left, and I'm guessing he hasn't loaded HE rounds because there's still a Jagdtiger left, and the artillery appears right behind him, so that could be scary. And he misses, so let's get a shot into the artillery, and he is gone, which is perfect. 12,000 damage now, 6 kills. Can he get the 7th kill? I mean, his name is Speedy Rabbit 777. He needs the 7th kill. It's just got to be that way. Straight through I believe that hits the upper plate. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He has all the health in the world. He can take a shot. He only splashed him with HE as well, so that's not a problem. 12,000 damage here. Can he get 13,000? Can he get the 7th kill? 13,195 damage. 7 kills. This is one of the greatest games I've ever seen, to be honest, in terms of damage. I have seen higher, but this is absolutely crazy, and I've never gotten anywhere close to that, really. I've only gotten 12,000, and yeah, this is absolutely crazy. So thank you for sending this replay to me, or telling me about it, because I'm glad I finally got to feature somebody's, as this is absolutely a crazy game. And yeah. I will have his channel linked in the description if you want to see his videos. And yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.